December 15th, 1985. 100 wanted criminals are laughing, drinking champagne, and hugging cheerleaders inside a Washington, D.C. convention center. They think they've won free tickets to the sold-out Redskins game. They have no idea that every waiter, every cheerleader, and every smiling usher is an undercover U.S. Marshal carrying a concealed pistol. In 45 seconds, a man in a top hat will step to the microphone and deliver the worst news of their lives. You're all under arrest. Side doors will explode open. 25 tactical officers will flood in with weapons drawn, and 101 fugitives will realize they've been trapped. But here's the insane part. These criminals didn't stumble into this trap. They RSVP'd to it and thanked the Marshals for the invitation. How did they trick fugitives into arresting themselves?
United States, 1985. The U.S. Marshals faced a nightmare. 250,000 fugitives nationwide, hundreds in Washington, D.C. alone, and every arrest could end in a gunfight. The fugitives weren't hiding. They lived openly in neighborhoods where patrol cars didn't slow down. Murderers, armed robbers, men who'd escaped prison or skipped bail, all kept guns within reach. When someone knocked, they shot first. Every warrant meant kicking down a door. Every door could have a shotgun behind it. Deputies came back with holes in their vests or in body bags. For every fugitive captured, 3 more warrants piled onto the stack. District Marshal Herbert Rutherford watched experienced deputies burn out or quit. He attended too many funerals. Chase fugitives one by one, and you run out of men before you run out of criminals. That's not law enforcement. That's attrition. What Rutherford needed was impossible. Arrest dozens of armed criminals simultaneously without giving any of them a chance to fight back. But what could make a paranoid fugitive walk peacefully into handcuffs? You already know the answer involves football. But the psychological trick hidden behind that answer is why this impossible operation actually worked.
One October night, Chief Deputy Toby Rowe sat in a diner watching a muted TV. The Washington Redskins were 7-1, crushing toward the playoffs. Every game sold out. Scalpers wanted $300 a seat. In a city tearing itself apart with crack and murder, the Redskins were the one thing that made people happy. Rowe stared at the screen. Then something clicked. What if we stop chasing criminals and make them come to us? Rutherford's eyebrows went up. Rowe grabbed a napkin and sketched it out. Free Redskins tickets, the hottest item in D.C., a VIP party to collect them. Get the fugitives relaxed and happy, lock the doors and arrest everyone at once. It violated every principle of law enforcement. It relied on criminals being stupid enough to walk into an obvious trap. But Rowe had a theory. Fugitives aren't stupid, they're greedy. And greed makes smart people do profoundly dumb things. Rutherford stared at the napkin. Let's pitch it. 2 men in a diner had just designed the most audacious sting in American history. But an idea on a napkin doesn't catch criminals. They needed approval, a fake company, 3,000 invitations, and officers willing to dress as waiters and cheerleaders. They needed fugitives to actually show up. And they needed everything to go perfectly. Because if one paranoid criminal smelled a trap, the party would turn into a bloodbath.
October 1985. Rowe pitched the scheme. A few deputies laughed. Invite murderers to brunch? But Rowe kept talking, and the laughter stopped. Create a fake company called Flagship International Sports Television, FIST, matching the Marshals' own fugitive investigative strike team. Print 3,000 letters announcing free tickets to the December 15th Redskins-Bengals game, plus a raffle for season tickets and a Super Bowl trip. Mail them to every fugitive with a known address. Invite them to a VIP brunch at the convention center, and arrest everyone who walks through the door. Here's the trick. Fugitives are lonely. Life on the run means constant paranoia. You can't trust anyone. You watch football alone in a cramped apartment, flinching at every siren. Then a letter arrives announcing you've won VIP treatment at a Redskins party. Free food, champagne, and a chance to feel like a winner instead of a hunted animal. The Marshals weren't offering tickets. They were offering the one thing life on the run strips away: the feeling of being special. That craving overrides almost every survival instinct. The team printed invitations on fake letterhead. The fictional executive who signed them was "I am wanted." The reply phone line played "I fought the law" as hold music. Every detail was a private joke. By late November, 3,000 letters dropped across DC. Then silence. 1 week. 2 weeks. Had the criminals smell a trap? Then the phone rang.
A man wanted for armed robbery confirmed his attendance and asked if he could bring his girlfriend. "Of course, sir. The more the merrier." When the deputy hung up, she had to cover her mouth to keep from screaming. The calls started as a trickle, then exploded. Day after day, fugitives dialed the Flagship hotline to confirm attendance at a party that would end with them in handcuffs. Career criminals thanked the receptionists. One man wanted for assault asked what to wear. Another asked about the buffet. A third wanted details about the open bar. Within 10 days, 160 fugitives had replied. Dozens more planned to just show up. Word filtered back that some wanted men were bragging to neighbors about their free tickets. One fugitive reportedly flashed the invitation to his parole officer. The boldest, most reckless criminals, exactly the men the Marshals wanted, were volunteering for the guest list. But here's what kept the task force awake at night. Every fugitive attending was potentially armed, desperate, and willing to kill to avoid prison. If one guest sensed the trap before the takedown, he could pull a weapon. One gun drawn would trigger a dozen more, and the ballroom would become a shooting gallery. They had one advantage: surprise. One shot to get it right.
The task force assembled 166 officers from across the country. No local cops the fugitives might recognize. They reserved the convention center's ballroom, mapped every entry and exit, and positioned a tactical team in the corridors. The trap was set. Now the Marshals had to pretend to be party hosts while surrounded by armed killers. How do you train a SWAT officer to smile and pour coffee for a murderer? In a warehouse across town, SWAT officers practiced carrying trays of croissants without their hands instinctively reaching for sidearms. Tactical specialists who'd spent years breaching doors rehearsed pouring coffee with warm, genuine-looking smiles. Gruff deputies memorized cheerful lines, "Right this way, sir," and "More champagne?" and "Congratulations on being a winner." The absurdity was surreal. Hardened cops learning to play caterers for an audience of killers, but everyone understood the stakes. One wrong move, one cop mannerism, one moment of breaking character, that's all it would take to blow the operation and start the shooting. The most brilliant element was the cheerleader greeting. Female deputies would dress in bright Redskins cheerleader outfits and station themselves at the entrance. Their mission: intercept every arriving fugitive with a big, enthusiastic hug. It sounds ridiculous, but it was genius. That hug doubled as a weapons pat-down. In the span of a friendly embrace, 3 seconds, maybe 4, the cheerleader would feel for a pistol at the waist, a knife in a coat pocket, anything metal pressed against the body. If she found a weapon, a subtle hand signal would alert the backup team. If he was clean, he got waved through with a dazzling smile. The fugitives would walk into their own arrest, thanking the woman who just frisked them.
Two of the largest Marshals drew the most absurd assignments in law enforcement history. One would spend the morning in a full-bodied chicken mascot costume, a knockoff of the famous San Diego chicken. The other would wear a Native American headdress and Redskins jersey to impersonate an unofficial team mascot. These weren't jokes. They were tactical camouflage. The organizers wanted controlled chaos, loud music, dancing mascots,
constant visual distractions. If the fugitives were laughing at the chicken doing a goofy dance, they wouldn't notice the waiters watching them too closely. They wouldn't think about why the ushers kept positioning themselves near the exits. The team ran full dress rehearsals in the warehouse, taping out the ballroom layout on the concrete floor and walking through every phase of the operation. Early runs were messy. An usher forgot to hand out name tags. A waiter accidentally called a colleague by his real name. The deputy in the chicken suit overheated and had to be helped out. Small mistakes, potentially fatal mistakes. So they drilled again and again until the operation flowed like a stage production with life or death stakes.
December 15, 1985. The temperature hovered near freezing in the pre-dawn darkness. By 5:30 a.m., unmarked trucks had finished unloading equipment through the convention center's service entrance. Banners, buffet supplies, sound equipment, the chicken costume, and cases of champagne. By sunrise, the grand ballroom was transformed into the most elaborate trap in law enforcement history. Buffet tables groaned with food. Scrambled eggs, crispy bacon, fresh pastries, fruit platters. Redskins banners hung from every wall. Red and gold balloons clustered in the corners. Television sets played looped highlight reels of the team's greatest moments. The sound system pumped fight songs. It looked exactly like what it was supposed to look like. A VIP celebration for lucky winners, not a cage for 100 wanted men. The deputies took their positions. Waiters behind the buffet tables, cheerleaders by the entrance, ushers near the registration desk. The chicken mascot practiced his waddle one more time. The tactical team waited in the corridors, invisible but ready. At 9 a.m., the doors would open. Every undercover officer checked their concealed weapons one final time. Chamber loaded, safety on, holster positioned where it wouldn't print through their costume. Then, they waited. The first fugitive arrived at 8 a.m., a full hour early. Too excited to wait, the team scrambled into character. A cheerleader intercepted him at the entrance with a dazzling smile and opened her arms wide. "Oh my God, congratulations! You're really here!" She wrapped him in a long, warm hug and confirmed in those 3 seconds that he wasn't carrying a weapon. "You're a winner, right this way." A tuxedoed usher guided him to the registration desk, where a hostess checked his name against the invitation list and pinned a bright name tag to his chest. The tag's color secretly coded his threat level. Blue meant low risk, red meant dangerous. The fugitive noticed nothing. He was too busy grinning at the free donuts and hot coffee, feeling like the luckiest man in D.C. More guests trickled in, then flooded. By mid-morning, the ballroom held over 100 wanted felons, the largest concentration of criminals under one roof in Washington's history, and not a single one of them knew they were surrounded. They loaded plates at the buffet, clinked champagne glasses with strangers, laughed at the chicken mascot's absurd dance moves. Some recognized each other from past crimes or old prison stints, but today they just shrugged and joked like friends at a tailgate. The atmosphere was surreal, almost hallucinatory. Charles Watkins, one of DC's 10 most wanted fugitives for homicide, stood near the buffet calmly eating a Danish and debating the Redskins' playoff chances. Accused murderers chatted with drug kingpins about the weather. Armed robbers posed for photos with the mascot. Every criminal in the room had spent months, years, looking over their shoulder, flinching at sirens, sleeping with one eye open. And now, for one glorious morning, they'd let their guard down completely. The marshals exchanged imperceptible nods across the room. The trap was full. The doors were about to lock. Now came the most dangerous 30 seconds any of them would ever experience. On stage, Deputy Marshal Louis McKinney, the MC in his ridiculous top hat and tails, stepped to the microphone and tapped it twice. The music lowered, the room gradually quieted, 100 faces turning toward the stage. Undercover marshals drifted toward the exits and locked them one by one, movements so casual nobody noticed. Behind the walls,
The tactical team in full combat gear moved silently into breach positions. McKinney beamed at the crowd like a game show host about to announce the grand prize. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. I hope you're enjoying yourselves." The fugitives cheered and raised their glasses. "Now, before we head to the game," McKinney continued, raising one hand dramatically, "we have one big surprise for all of you." His voice hung in the air. Every marshal in the room stopped breathing. 100 armed fugitives stood between them and the exits. The tactical team had their hands on door handles. The cheerleaders had vanished. The waiters' hands were drifting toward hidden holsters. If even one person in that crowd sensed what was about to happen, if one paranoid criminal made a move before the signal, the next 3 seconds would determine who walked out alive. McKinney's smile vanished. His voice dropped to something cold and hard. "You're all under arrest." One heartbeat of absolute silence. The words didn't register. Then, the side doors exploded open simultaneously, and 25 tactical officers flooded into the ballroom in full combat gear. Weapons raised, fanning across the room in a practiced formation they drilled 100 times. The party music cut dead mid-note. The chicken mascot froze by the buffet, motionless. "Put your hands on top of your heads," McKinney roared from the stage, his game show charm replaced by the bark of a federal officer giving orders that would be obeyed. The cheerleaders had disappeared. The waiters had drawn concealed pistols, and 100 fugitives stared down the barrels of guns held by men who'd been refilling their champagne 5 minutes earlier. A few fugitives let out stunned, nervous laughs. Surely this was part of the entertainment, some kind of elaborate joke. Then they saw the tactical gear, the real badges, the absolute stillness of fingers on triggers. The laughs curdled into curses. One man, wanted for assault, bolted from his seat towards an exit. It was locked. Marshals tackled him before he made it 3 steps, driving him face first into the carpet. Around the room, hands rose slowly into the air. No one reached for a weapon. Whatever fight these men carried on the streets, whatever bravado they'd built over years of evading the law, evaporated instantly, against the wall of overwhelming force and total surprise. They'd been outmaneuvered by people they trusted, ambushed by their own greed. There was nowhere to run and nothing to do but surrender. Marshals moved through the crowd, barking commands, snapping handcuffs onto wrists. "On your knees, hands where I can see them. Nobody move." The compliance was almost eerie. 100 dangerous men dropping to the floor without a fight, too stunned to resist. 5 minutes ago, they'd been VIPs at the party of their lives, toasting their good fortune, dreaming about Super Bowl trips and season tickets. Now they lay face down on the carpet, next to overturned champagne glasses and half-eaten plates of eggs.
The whole takedown, from McKinney's announcement to the last pair of handcuffs clicking shut, lasted under 4 minutes. When the room finally fell silent, the marshals counted heads. 101 fugitives arrested. Not a single shot fired, not a single injury on either side. The most dangerous mass arrest in American history had gone off without a scratch. Outside, yellow school buses idled in a row, waiting to transport the prisoners to processing. Marshals led out handcuffed men in groups past the entrance, under the banner still reading, "Congratulations." Photographers captured the final absurd image for the next morning's front pages. Inside the wrecked ballroom, surrounded by deflating balloons and abandoned buffet trays and the crumpled chicken costume, the undercover team finally exhaled. Grins broke out, a few hoops of disbelief. They'd pulled off one of the largest mass arrests in American law enforcement history, using nothing but fake letterhead, rented costumes, a knockoff mascot, and one brutal psychological truth. Even a man who spent years running from the law can't resist the feeling of being a winner for a day. As one cuffed fugitive shuffled past a group of exhausted marshals, he paused and managed a crooked grin. "Man, you guys got me good." A deputy, still wearing his sweat-soaked tuxedo, clapped him on the shoulder and laughed. But the truth was simpler than that. The criminals got themselves. They'd walked into their own prison, shaken hands with the people building their cage, posed for photos with undercover agents, thanked them for the hospitality. And all of it Every handshake, every smile, every moment of feeling special happened because they couldn't say no to free football tickets that never existed. Operation Flagship became the template for sting operations across the country. Proof that the smartest weapon in law enforcement isn't a battering ram or a tactical team. It's a lie so generous, so perfectly designed to exploit human weakness that nobody can believe it's a trap.
If you did, please remember that I create everything on this channel by myself.
And I can only keep doing this thanks to your likes and comments.
I'm Mustismy. See ya until the next video. As always, take care.